And you're very welcome back to the Agriland Pavilion here at the National Ploughing Championships. I'm Aisling O'Brien and I'm delighted to be joined by the interim Chief Executive of Board BIA, Michael Murphy. Michael, you're very welcome to the Agriland Pavilion. Are you enjoying being back at the ploughing?
I'm loving being back at the ploughing. I've been coming to the ploughing for over 30 years and it's really great to see people out meeting, networking and doing business.
There's a lot of walking to be done on site here, but you're just back from a pretty extensive tour of Asia. There was 10 days over in Japan, Singapore and Vietnam as well. You were joined on that government-led trade mission by, of course, Minister for Agriculture, Food and the Marine, Charlie McConalogue, and Minister of State of the Department, Martin Hayden, as well. You were promoting beef and lamb. How was it? Was it a success?
The trade mission was hugely successful because it was well prepared for, and we managed to launch Irish beef in Isetan in Tokyo and Irish beef and lamb in Ryan's grocery store in Singapore. But more importantly, it's about raising the profile of Irish food and drink in one of the fastest growing markets in the world, and giving the story of why Irish food and drink can play a big role within Asia, really focusing on our grass-based production and our unique sustainability programme here in Ireland. So great opportunity to build awareness and understanding of what we've got to offer.
Is the sustainability message hitting home over there?
I think the sustainability message is hitting home around the world and it varies by market. I think it's not as strong as it's in Europe, but it is in Japan, Singapore particularly, and sustainability means different things in different parts of the world. In Japan, Singapore, it was around food safety, food assurance, far more than the environmental impact within that. But I think it's growing, and the research we've done on sustainability, like 71% of consumers around the world want to buy more sustainable food and drink going forward. So sustainability, while it may be dampened down a bit by the current cost inflation challenges, it's still a big underlying trend.
Some people aren't happy with the trade mission. Irish Doctors for the Environment, they've slammed the trade mission in terms of the sustainability claims that are made on such a trade mission. They're saying that it's misleading and grossly misaligned with the necessary actions to ensure food security, climate action and sustainable development. What do you say to that charge?
I'd say that they're a little bit misinformed. We live in a global food and drink industry, and we in Ireland produce from grass. We produce dairy and beef from grass. We're one of the most sustainable places in the world to produce food. And if you look at the carbon footprint through life cycle analysis of beef or dairy, about 85% of that's on the farm. The transport element of it's quite small. And because we've got one of the most sustainable places in the world to produce food, I think it's an obvious choice that we export that food to places in the world who don't produce it as well.
Is the grass-fed message as impactful as we think it is? Because having been on the trade mission and having gone to Food Hotel Asia in Singapore, we saw all of the different stands from around the world. We're not the only country touting grass-fed.
No. If you go to any trade fair, there's lots of competition around green, around grass-fed. But what they don't have is proof. What our Origin Green programme and our farm sustainability programme, we have 55,000 farms being audited every 18 months. And while that's a little bit of a chore for farmers, what that does is gives us proof. And the big customers in the world want proof. They want data. We can supply with that data, and that helps us to build long-term sustainable relationships with the best customers. And that's how we deliver the best value back to farmers.
Talking about new markets and trying to reopen markets, where are we with China and getting Irish beef back over on the shelves there?
So Irish beef has been out of China now for some time. The Department of Agriculture has made huge efforts to get it back into China. We have now at this stage answered every query that the Chinese have put to us, and we look forward to an answer quite soon where there's been various online meetings with the ministry responsible in China, and we've supplied very promptly all of the information they required back. So we're quite hopeful that they will make a decision and let Irish beef back in.
Is there the danger that something like this can be treated like a political football?
Various different countries have different reasons for not speeding these things up. I'm not sure in China what that is at the moment, but there are a lot of big things happening in China at the moment. We'll see the Communist Party Congress happening in October. and maybe there are some issues there.
What emerging markets are you also targeting? I understand South Korea has big potential for Irish beef exports as well.
South Korea imports a lot of beef from the United States and Australia. We have been working with South Korea for quite some time to build their understanding of the technical controls in place in South Korea, or in Ireland, for the South Korean consumer. We believe we've went through all of the department went through all the hurdles in this, and we're waiting a decision through their parliamentary process. I just should mention that the department working on market access, but also the embassies around the world play a huge role in continuing that lobbying to get Irish access in those markets.
We're hearing news as well closer to home that Board Bia's Sustainable Beef and Lamb Assurance Scheme is going to be part of the new Suckler Carbon Efficiency Programme. Now, farmers out there are probably wondering why their data needs to be used for this. Why do they need to be part of the scheme to sign up for this? And is there a risk that having that caveat there could turn farmers off joining this programme?
I think firstly the quality issue, I'd like to reassure farmers about the protection of their personal data in our various schemes. We employ the services of a data protection commissioner around the use of personal data, and I could assure farmers there will be no abuse of their data within it. I think the fact that we have some really valuable data that we can anonymize and compile, we can actually demonstrate improvement within that. I think it's too early to say whether that data will play a role in the new scheme.
Yeah, and I mean it's also going to be a factor with the dairy beef welfare scheme as well.
Yeah, well, I think again, there is no immediate plan on that at the moment in terms of using that for the dairy welfare scheme.
Yeah, and can you see those schemes needing to be revamped as we look at a new CAP?
I think not specifically. We need to continually evolve our quality assurance systems and our sustainability measures. Like the whole strategy is built around proving to our customers that we're doing the right thing and improving all the time. So we will be looking at improving those systems all of the time so that we can demonstrate real value to our customers and generate their loyalty.
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose organic production is something that we saw a focus on for the Germany trade mission earlier this year.
Yeah.
It's obviously something that the government has targeted in the next CAP. There is a huge increase in the budget there as well. 256 million euros being earmarked to increase organic production in this country. But I suppose the question is there a market there domestically and internationally for that produce?
So the trade mission to Biofac in Germany that I participated on with Minister Hackett, it was all about understanding the opportunity for it. And as part of that trade fair, we met with three of the largest German organic retailers. And from them, the message coming back very strongly was that there is a market for both organic beef and organic cheddar within that, and other products within that. So what we're welcome the increased rates of support for farmers for conversion to organic, and we're now preparing for that product hitting the market in 2 years' time. So working to establish those customer connections so that when that product is ready to market, we're ready to support it. And at the moment we're recruiting an dedicated organic executive to champion organic within the wider Board Bia markets, in our marketing team.
What do you see Board Bia's role in terms of transparency in the food chain here in Ireland?
I think Board Bia's role is to bring Irish food and drink to the world within that. I think our role in transparency is to work with other agencies like the Department of Agriculture, like Teagasc, like ICBF, in terms of helping us to deliver on Food Vision 2030. Specifically in terms of any information we have that is we can share with farmers, we do. We have a big insights division, and really what our job is to equip both the food producers and farmers to make the right decisions around their investments within the food and drink industry.
Do you think farmers get the message from Board Bia on that? Do they feel that they're kind of kept out of the loop, that this is an arrangement between perhaps the processors and Board Bia going out into the world and they're forgotten in that?
No, Board Bia has a really good board structure. We have a meat board, a dairy board, and farmers are represented on all those and play a really significant role in devising our plans and strategy and marketing plans. So I would say that farmers are an integral part of making that happen. We exist because of farmers. Our job is to add value to what farmers produce, and we'll work with them to see how we can do that best.
And speaking of farmers and farm inspections, something that obviously isn't maybe that popular with farmers, I suppose, how did COVID change that? We had a lot of remote work done on farms, and obviously with the pandemic we had to adjust. Has Board Bia brought any of those learnings forward into inspection regimes?
I think we've learned a lot during COVID on how we can do that, and really what we would like to do is to minimise the disruption caused by a farm audit. The farm audit is critically important because that's what our key customers need, and that gives us the data to make statements around why Irish is the obvious option for key customers. So what we've learned is we can now do a lot of the preparatory work online, that farmers can upload a lot of their documents online so that the audit actually can be shorter and less disruptive to their farming day. And I think we're going to make more changes going forward, because one of the sticking points or the areas that causes most challenge for farmers is the medicines record. We hope that there will be technology in place, that we won't have to actually interrogate it, that we'll see an online solution to that where farmers are collecting that data remotely themselves and we can then verify it. So I think it's finding practical solutions that work on the farm.
Is that being developed by Board Bia, that technology?
It's being developed in partnership with another body. So it's the veterinary industry are developing a system where they can have that records, and we hope to be able to tap into that system.
And when could we expect to see that change?
I'm not sure of the exact date. It won't be this year.
Okay. We've mentioned a lot about sustainability, and I was talking to people about speaking to you today, and they were saying that, sustainability, it's not just a buzzword, and that consumers are looking for proof points. You've mentioned that here today. Consumers are looking for an awful lot from their farmers. They want to see that their food is being produced sustainably. We've obviously been discussing food flying across the planet, being shipped across the planet. That's trying to square that circle as well in face of this demand for sustainability as well from around the world.
I think the consumer in all of our research has said across 9 or 11 markets, we did 11,000 consumers, they want to see genuine sustainability. Sustainability is with us for many years to come, and we as an industry need to address it. I think it's a huge opportunity to differentiate Irish food and drink on global markets, because we have fabulous infrastructure now with Origin Green and the quality assurance schemes, where we're auditing 55,000 farmers every 18 months. No other country in the world has this. So we have an opportunity to differentiate that and also to provide real proof. And part of that, to give an example, is we've managed to reduce the carbon footprint per kilo of beef produced in Ireland over the last 5 years by 6%. I think the dairy figure is 6.4%. So we've real achievable figures to look at, and that gives us great confidence as we go forward to achieve much more. Over the summer months, even just to tell you, we've had every retailer or country come in and go under the bonnet of Origin Green, because it is a world-leading scheme. They want to see what they can learn from it. We need to just continue to drive on and maximise it to differentiate Ireland and to bring more value back for Irish food and drink.
So as we come to the end of our chat today, Michael, I suppose your time as interim Chief Executive of Board Bia is coming to an end as well. Have you enjoyed your time in the role, and how would you like to see the organisation develop now into the future?
I've hugely enjoyed the last number of months, and particularly Asia, particularly down here. So it's a great opportunity, a great honour and privilege. Jim O'Toole will join us as our new CEO on the 1st of November. I don't see any major change in the organisation. We have a 3-year strategy that we're only in the first year of, and that strategy is really about adding value to Irish food and drink, ensuring that sustainability is a critical differentiator within that. It's all part of our image and brand internationally, and really a lot of optimism for the future. We have a great team at Board Bia, whether they're overseas or in Dublin, and we look forward to supporting farmers and the food industry to bring back value to Ireland. So it's been a real pleasure.
And you'll be staying within the organisation, I understand.
Basically, my role before this was heading up the talent function. We have 80 postgrads working through Board Bia, and also our own internal talent. So really enjoy that role and look forward to getting back to it.
Well, Michael Murphy, the interim Chief Executive of Board BA, thank you so much for joining us here in the Agriland Pavilion. We're now going to head back out onto the field at the National Ploughing Championships to catch up with some of the exhibitors.